Welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. As we have said, this week is dedicated to events, and one of our very best event planners here in Houston, and by chance I would say, because we're lucky to have her, is a Nigerian, an American, by the name of Doyin Fashakin, and she's the CEO of Doyin Fash Events. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you started in the industry and why you chose to, because I know event planners have the best of the best creative minds, right? You have to be very, very creative. You have to see an empty space and imagine in your head how to fill it. So tell us about yourself and how you got started.
Okay, so like you said earlier, my name is Doyin Fashakin. I'm based here in Houston, Texas. I'm married and I have 3 boys.
Mama for the boys.
So I'll tell you what got me started. I grew up in Ibadan, and my dad is in politics, my mom is in the ministry. So we had a lot of events at home growing up. We actually had a ballroom in my house. Can you imagine that, having a ballroom in a house?
Wow.
So, and as the first girl, of course, I was expected to help out with all the events.
Definitely.
Would have the caterers come in, they'll cook. I'll be the one to set up the tables, put linens on the tables, and, you know, attend to the guests when they arrived at the house. I didn't even know there was a career called event planning then. I didn't know what I was doing was event planning. Fast forward, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Went to school in Atlanta. I went to Georgia State University.
Oh, okay.
And because I was always hosting back home, you know, I would invite my friends over, continue the same thing I was doing in Nigeria, would cook dinner and invite my friends to come over to, you know, taste my food. And every time they would come there, they'll see that I would have the table set up, you know, color coordinate everything.
Different times, different days, different
like
themes.
I call my friends, I say, do you guys want to come and eat amala, or do you guys want to come and eat fried rice? I'm cooking tonight. And all my friends, college students, you know, everybody will be hungry, girls, guys, they'll all come over. And they'll come in and I'll have everything set up, you know, black and white, white and red, have flowers, centerpieces on the tables and everything like that. So people were like, this is really a talent that you have, you know. Have you thought about, you know, doing this as a profession? And then that was when I started researching, and I was like, what is this profession called event planning, and what is it all about? So in 2004, one of my very good friends from high school, we went to high school together in Lagos. She was getting married, and she decided to ask me to help her with her event.
They ask you to take a risk, a chance.
She took a chance because she had seen my work. She had seen, you know, me.
That is a true friend.
Things together, and I would say even before she asked me, I'd planned a few bridal showers as well for a few friends. Yes. So, and she had seen them, you know, nicely designed, and she did ask me to plan her wedding for her. It was a wedding with about 120 guests, so it wasn't a big wedding compared to what I planned these days. So I won't say it was pretty easy, but that day I was a florist. I had to go online. I think back then it was YouTube, not Google. So I went on YouTube and just watched how to make centerpieces. It was in Philadelphia. I flew in there, went to a local shop, bought flowers, put together the centerpieces.
From Atlanta?
Yes, from Atlanta. Yes, I was living in Atlanta then.
But the wedding was in Philadelphia?
It was in Philadelphia. So I flew in, went online, watched how to make balloons. So I built a balloon arch over her sweetheart area. I rented linen, set up the table, set up the chairs, the plates, everything. I was pretty much everything on that day. I was, even though I didn't cook the food, I can say I was the caterer because I was the one getting the guests to go eat their food. Making sure everybody was fine, set up everywhere, and I was almost even the MC because she didn't have an MC.
Talking about my shy friend.
So I was everything. I was everything on that day, and you know, after the event, I was like, this is actually not bad. This is a nice thing, a nice career. So I started helping other people with their weddings after that, and I would say 2005, I moved to Houston. And then I joined a big Nigerian church, and I helped out with their events as well, just to get more experience with bigger events. And from there, members of the church started asking me to help with their own events, their daughters' weddings. And I decided, you know, it was birthdays, and I decided it was time to start charging people because you can't keep doing things for free.
So all along it was free?
It was free at first because for my friend
Oh
it was
wow!
free because that was my friend.
Oh, that was your friend. I understand. And then
so
she took a chance on you
took
anyway.
a chance, yeah. I mean, she paid for all the things that we
Of course,
got, like the
of
rentals
course.
and everything, but I didn't charge her a fee because I wasn't so sure. I knew
What
I
were
was
you doing at the time, if I may ask?
I was a financial analyst, so I used to be a financial analyst and a project manager.
No wonder you're so detailed.
Thank you. So, well, after I was being asked by different people from my church, I decided it was time to start charging. I went ahead and took a quick course just to understand what the event industry was about. I invested in myself, got a coach as well to coach me on how to start a business, so that way I could run the business properly.
Wow.
So that's how I got into event planning.
Wow. So when did you experience your first big break? Because I know these days you don't well, you do plan for, of course, but your events now, man, they are like way up there. So when did you get that big break?
I don't know if I remember when I actually got the big break, but I would say in 2012 I did a lot of high-end events for organizations, so corporate events that were really huge, and I can mention some of them. Exxon, Microsoft. I did a lot of big events. Exxon, Microsoft, Dow.
ExxonMobil.
Yes.
Microsoft.
Dow Chemical.
Dow Chemicals.
I did a.
These are huge oil and gas events.
Yes, and I did something for the American Heart Society as well.
Wow.
American Heart Association, and also that same year I did a lot of big weddings, high-end weddings. There was one of them that Davido came to perform here in Houston, and I think on the wedding side that was really one of the biggest wedding I'd planned then. He performed. The wedding was designed beautifully. A lot of people came to that wedding. People were talking about that wedding. So I think that year was a great year for me. I got more exposure. More people recognized my brand, I guess, after those events. That year. So I'll say maybe that year, 2011, 2012. Being the year, I'll say I got a big break, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
I got more exposure.
More exposure. That's the big break I was expecting
you
to see anyway. So for some people that want to plan events, what are the things to look out for? When it comes to budget, the size of the event, the venue, and little things like that. What are those little things?
Okay. So when you're planning an event, I guess maybe your question is, how do you plan successful events, or how can you make sure your events are successful?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like for me now, say I want to plan an event, and I'm thinking, I need to invite 500 people. Maybe the budget will not cater for 500 people. I'm sure you're going to be able to advise the host of any event on how to properly manage the resources they have, right? So, say I want to plan an event, you definitely will be the one to help source for the venue, except I have a venue that I really want to use, right? So things like that, my budget and all of that, how do you have a way coordinating that?
I mean, first of all, when you're planning an event, like if you were to come to me for my help, I would ask you your vision for that event. What is your vision? Why are you planning this event? You want to have 500 people and you don't have a good budget. Why do you have to have 500 people? So I don't force my clients. I won't force you to change, but I would advise you, give you my professional advice, and maybe convince you to cut down your guest count. Because sometimes the clients find out that they really don't need to have 500 guests. I mean, I'll give an example. Maybe you're planning a wedding, for example. Why do you want 500 people at your wedding? Are you close to 500 people? Some people have big families, yes, and have lots of friends. But then if you don't have a budget for it, then I'll advise you to cut it down.
And make it intimate.
Make it intimate. And then maybe do something at your church the next day, like a Thanksgiving or something, and then just have food prepackaged for your guests. And then your wedding maybe have like 200, 250 guests or 300 if that's what you have a budget for. And make sure everybody has a good time. You want people that are close to you to be at your event. And then if it's a corporate event, it depends. Like, what's your goal for that corporate event? Why do you need 500 people? Is it because you're trying to increase sales? Are you trying to acquire new clients? or are you just trying to get exposure? Maybe you just got to that neighborhood and you want people around to know that your company is now there. So it depends on what your goal is, and if that's what you're trying to do, maybe acquire new clients. There are other ways to do it than to have 500 people. Maybe invite like 200 people if that's what your budget can accommodate. 200 people that are really key to your business. 200 people that are your clientele, the type of clientele that your business needs. Not just 500 people, because your event will be useless if you have 500 people that are not interested in buying like energy products. If that's what you're selling,
it's going to be a productive event.
It has to be productive. You have to have the right sort of people, because you can have 200 people at an event, and the event will be successful. You attain your goals, and then have 500 people and not attain anything. You can have 500 people and nobody will patronize your business. If it's a business where you're trying to acquire new sales and new clients and increase your sales. So
these are counsels you give to your clients,
like and just
so they can weigh their options, and then they decide if they still want to push forward with it or not. But at least you let them understand, the basis of why they want to host the event, and that the mission and the vision of that event.
What are your goals? What are you trying to attain? Do you really need to have that guest count? You don't. I mean, you can have 100 people and actually have those 100 people sign up for your product if you're trying to sell products. And you can have 500 people and they will come there and just leave without doing anything.
You've had, I remember earlier in the year, I think you had this, I think it was during Valentine's, I believe.
Oh, the couples ball.
Yeah, you had that successful, I heard all about it. I know I was supposed to be there. I'm sorry, I just couldn't make it. I heard all about it. My friend was actually the DJ that night, and it was awesome. Everybody talked about it, how good it was. I wonder how you balance the work-life, situation. How you have a family, three boys,
not four.
Of course, three boys, and and you plan all this event. Sometimes they get you to travel away from your family. How do you balance it? How do your children, do they miss you so much? How do you keep your family intact? Because women are the pillar. I don't care what any man says about this. I'm a father myself. I'm a father of 4 children, and my lovely wife, but I always give her kudos for what she does. And I wonder, for professionals like you, that everybody is trying to, your schedule that I'm sure is going to be really crazy. That's why I'm so grateful you're able to do this interview with us, But how are you able to balance the work-life relationship?
I'll say it's tough. I mean, it's not easy. But I'll say over the years I've been able to manage, work and family life smoothly. One thing for me is I prioritize my family. My family comes first. That's the first thing, and then work second. I have 3 boys, and it's not easy raising 3 boys. And then 2 of them are in middle school, so they will need more attention. So what I do is, like I said, I prioritize. My family comes first. I have a schedule for them. I have a calendar that I keep. I put their activities on my calendar as appointments. Just like I'll keep my clients' appointments as appointments on my calendar, I keep my kids' appointments as appointments too.
Nice.
Even sometimes date nights with my husband, I put it on my calendar to make sure that, okay, this is when we're going out. Just to make sure that I don't miss any of the activities. When my kids have activities in school during the week, I make sure I go. I take time out to go for everything. I have a calendar at home, a schedule for even food. This is what we eat every day. In the morning, I make sure I spend time with my kids. I talk to them. In the evening, when I come back from work, I make sure I don't work too late. When I come back from work, I have mommy and kid time with them. Talk about their day, see how their day went, help them with homework. Because my husband is also very busy. He's a businessman as well, so you can imagine how crazy it can get. But we just make sure that we come home at a certain time, spend time with the kids. After they've gone to bed, if you want to go back to working, checking emails, doing stuff, yeah, we can do that. But we make sure that from the time we get home, maybe 5 or 5 close to 6, and we have dinner together at a certain time. And then help with homework and spend time with them. And then after that, they go to sleep, and then we can go back to doing our work.
Lovely. I love that. I think we need to adopt that myself, even in my, because I just do schedule business only. I don't put family but they know for sure I've never have to miss out on any of the event. I don't care where I am in the world.
Yeah.
I fly back and you know, make sure I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
My wife has been wonderful also, you know, doing that. My next question is going to be a little personal.
Answer that question.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little personal. It's I know in life there are successes and failures.
Yeah.
We've talked about your accomplishment and all that. Are there a point in life during the journey of your business that you feel like you want to quit, or there's certain failure, you no regrets, however, but just you feel like, oh, this is something I should have done better. You know.
I mean, just with any business, you'll have challenges and you have failures. I mean, I've had lots of challenges. There are times that I'll have like clients that are a bit challenging. Even though I'm known as a patient person, I'm pretty patient with everybody. I can deal with any personality. But there have been a few times I've had like some really challenging clients, and I've thought about maybe even quitting. Like, oh, I'm not sure I really want to be in this. And, yeah, but the thing is, when I think about my other clients, I think about my other events that have been very successful. I'm sure I think most of my events have been successful, if not all. When I think about the impact I've made in the lives of people that I've planned events for, you know, that just keeps me going. And what I do is I just learn from my failures, or if you call it challenge, I call them challenges, not failures. Yeah, I just learn from my challenges that, okay, what can I do better? You know, maybe screen my clients next time, and you know, make sure that
accept certain jobs.
Yeah, not everything is, you know, good. Not every job is good. Not every event is good. You have to look at when I meet my clients. That's why I like to meet my clients before I take the jobs. I want to see if, you know, our personalities merge. You know, if we're
yeah, I remember you did that with us. Because when we're planning Ayekuto lunch back some years ago.
Yeah.
Despite being friends, personal friend, when it came to business, you're like, okay, let's sit down and talk about it. And I'm like, what is wrong with this girl?
Yeah, we have to talk about it because we have to make sure that we match, and I'm able to meet your needs.
Right.
You know, because not all. I mean, I can't meet everybody's needs. Some people want a lot of things that I know I'm not able to do. You know, I've had a client that met with me and said, oh, you know, what if I call you at 2 a.m. in the morning? And I'm like, 2 a.m. in the morning, I would like to sleep so I can be refreshed and ready for work the next day. So I wouldn't want to be picking up anyone's calls at 2 a.m. in the morning, unless maybe the next day is your event and you have an emergency. Gotcha. And that's different.
I personally will believe you're a successful event planner, knowing being at a lot of your events and you know, being personal friends as well. Do you have people that look up to you? Do you have people that you've mentored in this line of business?
So actually, one of the things that motivates me is being able to help others. And yes, I do have a lot of people I've mentored. I have people that I've mentored that are based in Nigeria, that are not even based in Houston.
Oh, well, so how do you get to do that?
They come here.
Okay.
I have some people that, if they can't come here, and then we'll do like phone or video sessions with them. I have people that I've mentored that are from the Philippines. Actually, one of them, Maria, she just went back to the Philippines.
Wow,
she
all
found
the
me
way?
on Instagram and then came here, and we had some one-on-one sessions. So I do have people I've mentored, and I know that, to me, I think success is when you've been able to help others and not just yourself. You know, when you get to a certain level, you should be able to bring people up to where you are, and that's one of the things that motivates me. So I just love to help others, and a lot of my mentors right now are doing very, very well. I have one that has been able to grow her business, tripled her income within 3 years of starting the business. So when I hear things like this, you know, they give me joy. I had this mother and daughter that I started mentoring just late last year, and within 6 weeks of starting a session with me, their one-on-one session with me, they were able to book, you know, about 6 clients within 6 weeks. And, you know, they started getting overwhelmed, and I had to tell them to slow down. Let's finish this sessions first before you actually continue to book people.
Wow.
You know, and before they came to me, they had started this business, 8 months, not a single client. You know, they didn't know what to do. So I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful to God for the talent. I don't know if it's a talent or I'll say
it's a gift. You know, that's a gift He has given to everybody.
To be able to share, you know, what the talent He's given to me, and not just hoard it and keep it for myself. Because you know, to me, when you're not helping others, I don't believe you're successful.
In a minute, in just 1 minute, can you tell our team and viewers, young and upcoming event planners, or those aspiring to be event planners that probably looking up to you, do you have a word of advice for them?
Okay. Well, if you're looking to become an event planner, I'll tell you event planning is not child's play. It's an industry that has a lot of pressure, a lot of challenges, and I would say if you want to get into it, do your research. Don't just jump into it because your friends are event planners or because you just got married and it was fun planning your wedding. It's different planning events or weddings for other people. So I'll say do your research, find a mentor, so that way you can avoid mistakes that we made. You know, when I was starting up, no one wanted to mentor me, okay? Which is why I had to start mentoring other people. You know, I would call people and ask them for help, and they'll slam the phones because they feel like you're their competition. So make sure you get a mentor. Things have changed this day, so make sure you get a mentor, someone you can look up to, someone that can direct you. Also get a coach, so that way, because not everybody is good with business, because you have to manage the event planning side, which is your creativity. You know, you also have to manage the business side as well. You know, building a successful business, how to keep your money, how to spend your money wisely, whether on advertisement or, you know, acquiring staff. Also, I'll say after doing your research, you know, work on yourself. Take classes to better yourself. You know, take classes about how to plan events successfully. You know, how do you go about planning an event? Don't just play into it. And that's the difference between people that have been successful and people that haven't been successful in this industry. There are a lot of people, as you know, go into event planning industry, but not everyone is successful. But when you invest in yourself, when you do a lot of research, when you get mentors and coaches, you are going to be successful. And also work on your own personality, work on patience, because you have to be patient. In this industry, you have to be patient. It's not for just anyone. It's for people who are patient, and it's for people who are very organized and also very creative. Even if you're not creative, you can learn to be creative. You can take classes. That's what I have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Let me ask one last question. Do you offer training classes?
Yes, I do offer training classes. I have 2 classes a year where I have about 20 people, because I like an intimate setting. So I have about 20 people usually attend that twice a year, usually in March and November. I also do have one-on-one sessions where you can come at any time. You know, we'll sit together and talk about times that are convenient for you. And that's pretty much a 3-month program. We can do it in 6 weeks. We've done one in 6 weeks before when I had a client that came from Nigeria and needed to go back. I do also have an online session as well for people that, you know, outside of Houston or can't make it to Houston.
So how can they reach you if they need to?
You can reach me on my through my website, www.doyinfash.com, which is spelled DOYIN, F as in Frank, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, H as in Henry.com. If you go on the website, you'll find my email address and my phone number there, which is 832-278-8820.
Bravo. Are you on any social media platform?
Yes, I am on social media. I'm on Instagram as Doyin_Fash_. I'm on Facebook as well as Doyin_Fash. And I'm on Twitter and Pinterest. So you can reach me anywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you very, very, very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with your friend.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right.
I've learned so much. I have to be patient for me to be creative. I have to also be more. I don't know how you guys
have a vision,
do it.
Have a goal when you plan an event.
I don't know how you do. You will see an empty space and you just fill it up in your head. You can fill it up. You can redesign. You can create and recreate. You know, within your. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. It's been real with Doyin Fashakin, and we'll still have more for you on these segments, and so stay tuned.